live, and by live, we were pre-recording this so we can edit it down for you later. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Device. The wonderful Victor Pizzolato hanging out with us today from Imprivata, talking to us about a couple of things, the acquisition. He's going to be showing us a demo as well, which is great. We're going to see this stuff live, and we're also going to talk about some some verticals that this falls into: retail, aviation, healthcare, so on and so forth. And then we're going to get out of your hair. But without further ado, Victor, I know who you are. You and I have been working together for a while, but the people listening/watching might not. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about Imprivata?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me, Reid. So my name is Victor Pizzolato. I came over with the acquisition from Ground Control. I am a mobile specialist. So basically my job is to engage with partners and clients to understand their mobile requirements and needs, and to be able to formulate a plan that suits their requirements. So basically, at Imprivata is a digital identity company. Digital identity company purchased Ground Control for their iOS mobile solution. Imprivata also has an Android solution as well. So whether they have Android devices or iOS devices, the objective is we can meet all their mobile needs from a digital identity perspective. We're going to show you that in the demo. How is that all kind of pulled together? We also have a bigger portfolio. We have OneSign, which is our digital identity product that integrates with both the Android and the iOS solution, as well as a suite of other products and solutions more geared towards the healthcare side. But our mobile solutions are cross-vertical.
Very cool. So you did mention the acquisition, and the Imprivata and Ground Control are merging, but not yet, right? The logos aren't going away. Can you just talk a little bit about that? Because I don't want there to be confusion that Imprivata and Ground Control are separate companies. They are one, but the logos aren't merging just yet.
Correct. We felt that we would keep the Ground Control logo and name because it's synonymous with provisioning and checkout in mobility. And that's where most of our customers know us, is under the Ground Control flag and name. So we decided to keep it, but hence at some point we're going to have one single name for both our Android and iOS solutions.
Okay, very cool. All right, and let's get right into the demo. You have demos for us, right? That's the beautiful the medium of film. So let's see some demos that you got for us, man. This
Absolutely.
is great. Thanks for doing this.
So I'm going to switch over. We can see this, correct?
Yep.
Right? And this is my demo environment. So I'm going to step away over to the demo system. And here I'm going to show you that this is a Datamation branded dock, and it has LED lights, and we have about 4 iPhones sitting here. So let's talk about, this is once again, multi-vertical. So whether you're in retail or healthcare or oil and gas or aviation, it makes no difference. The objective is there are users that come in and that want to share a device. For a number of reasons. But the objective here is, how do I maintain the digital identity of the user across shared devices and make it seamless? Someone comes into work, they don't want to have to log in with their Apple ID or do other functions. They want to simply take their employee ID badge, and I'm going to tap this on this badge reader, and that's going to basically go out and it's going to identify who I am. In this case, I'm Elisa. And Elisa is going to be looked up in the system. She's going to be identified, authorized to take a phone, and then we're going to personalize this phone. So there's communications going on the back end with our OneSign product, and on the front end with the MDM, and we work with multiple MDMs to identify what applications, what restrictions and profiles need to go on this device. But this happens in seconds. So let me tap the badge. You're going to see it for yourself. So I tap the badge, and you see it turns blue. It's staging the device. So it's talking to OneSign, it's talking to MDM, and then when this turns blinking white, that cues the individual that's sharing this device to pick it up and utilize it. So very cool. I'm going to mirror this device, so you actually get to see what this looks like on screen.
So, I mean, this is incredibly easy for any end user then. I mean, you're literally just walking up, and that's just an RFID badge to what looks like a Wave ID RFID reader. You're just tapping that, and it's telling you these iPhones, and this could be an iPad or an iPod Touch as well, but which one of these iOS devices is checked out specifically to the person, correct?
That's absolutely correct. So on the left side, this is my actual device that I checked out. So the objective here is, and I'll switch to this screen first, because I want you to see that this was checked out and assigned to Elisa Roman. Remember, I tapped my badge. We actually personalized the device, and we put not only her name, but a digital ID as well on the device. There's a lot of other advanced features that we can perform, but in this case, you're seeing the device checked out, her name, personalized on device, and you're seeing all the applications that she needs. So each individual might have different applications, a different logo. We can actually personalize the device based on the user. Once again, that's our communications with MDM. And so you can see here a bunch of applications on the device. I'm going to tap on this one called checkouts. And the reason I'm doing this is, how do I track this asset? This is a web app that actually goes on the device and is installed at the initial provisioning time, but it actually allows either a leaser or a department manager to monitor what devices are actually being removed, being checked out in that location, and when they are being returned. So if she didn't return the device, it would actually show that it's overdue and send notifications to her and the department manager. So this is how we keep people accountable for tracking the device and returning them, right, and maintaining that asset. It also shows one's charging. So if we look at the screen here, this is the device that's charging. Even though there's other devices, these are personal devices. We're never going to manage or maintain them. We'll allow the charging to happen, but we only want to share and maintain and manage the devices that are part of the corporate fleet. Okay. So I'm Elisa. I'm done with my shift. I'm coming over, and I'm going to return the device. And what's going to happen in this process, in a matter of about 7-8 seconds, it's going to re-hide, because we're not wiping the device. We're just basically resetting. It's going to hide all the applications and reset the device, take her name off the device.
Well, yeah, you can see everything's just deleting itself on the screen.
Right. And it'll go back to a device's lock state, which means that the device is bricked. Without that tap of the badge, that device can never be checked out. It can't be plugged into iTunes. It can't be restarted because it'll come back to that state where it'll say the device.
It says it's locked. Yeah, I see that.
Yep.
That's very cool.
The demo. Yeah, it's the demo of checkout. Once again, combination of ground control working with our one-sign product and your MDM of choice. And once again, this can be applicable to multiple industries that have shared devices and shared users.
Thank you for walking us through that, man. That's a very powerful solution for anybody that has limited IT resources, which I'm pretty sure is like every company on the planet has limited IT resources, and also a shared pool of devices, because you're able to not only deploy that in the field, but if something goes wrong, you didn't show it, but there's a self heal, right? You can just tap a button on the screen. It'll actually reset the device back to its original settings, specifically to that MDM or to that ready state for deployment. So all you have to do, if it's not working, you just plug it back in, badge another device out, and then you're good to go. I mean, that's like basically an IT help desk in real time in the field without having to bug the IT help desk. So those girls can actually focus on value-added activities. That's a pretty awesome solution. Very cost-effective too.
Yes, correct. And it comes with our solution as our base model. We have upwards of about 100 different organizations that are using self-heal for that exact method.
Very cool. And you mentioned a couple of verticals in there. Is there? You said healthcare. Again, this is applicable for retail, warehousing and logistics, aviation, maybe last mile. I mean, there's a ton of applicability in here outside of just healthcare, which is the demo that we were talking about.
Correct. So I'll give you some use cases. You kind of put in some context. So in healthcare, as an example, very popular. Imprivata was built on healthcare. The majority of our business is healthcare, although ground control was across vertical. So in healthcare, you have clinicians, transport individuals, doctors, so different point of care individuals in the organization that need to share devices, and they need to be up, at 99.9% of the time. So the objective is you need a shared device that is quick and easy to check out, that's very reliable, that you can track that asset from start of shift to end of shift. And typically in healthcare, most of our customers in that vertical are using it in that manner. There are other use cases. We have iPads, all right, so tablets that can be used for patient engagement, for telehealth. So during COVID, obviously, this was a big demand. We couldn't interface directly with the patient, so we gave them an iPad, and then the doctor or the nurse would interface with the patient between her iPhone and the iPad that the patient was holding, or the patient could communicate with their loved ones, right, through a Skype or any type of video session. So it was really very helpful in healthcare, and those trends are going to continue. But the iPhones and the iPads and the iPods serve a very strong purpose and lots of use cases in healthcare. Well, let's switch to aviation. There's use cases in aviation where flight attendants or mechanics need to share a device. And it's a critical role. They can't depart if the flight attendant doesn't have a working device, right? So they have requirements for beverage and intake. They have cabin requirements that require that phone to be on that flight attendant at all times. If that individual shows up for their flight and that device is not working, it stalls or delays the flight, which costs the company money.
Costs a lot of money, yeah.
They do. So they pick up a loaner device, and what do they simply do? Tap their employee badge. They check out a device, they can deploy, and everything runs very smoothly. And we track the device from not only location to location, from country to country. Wherever they're traveling, they check out a device, they check it in, someone else checks it out and checks it in. So these devices are moving around the globe, right, with the flight attendants. Once again, mechanics, we have pilot training. So there's a whole host of different use cases in aviation. Let's switch over to retail. Retail is very big. We have some very, very large retail accounts. And these are the store associates that are interfacing with the customers, right, behind the counter. And they're checking inventory, they're purchasing, different items. They're using that mobile device in the same way. They typically don't check out the device, but they can track who has the device. And they use the device basically for their shifts. Are they in the jewelry department? Are they in the footwear department, right? Makes no difference. We can customize things based on what department they're in, but the objective is thousands of locations and thousands of stores and thousands of store associates that are using our devices in a shared manner.
That's very cool. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a really smart, intelligent solution for anybody that has a shared pool of devices and just a limited amount of resources to be able to figure out a solid way to be able to do that well. You can't have a clunky check-in, check-out process. You can't have a clunky shared pool of devices, especially in like a hospital space, or even just, you talk about retail. I mean, just how fast-paced and how busy that segment is. I think they had a stat about, like, if you don't get help within a certain amount of time, people leave. So being able to, that line busting moment, to be able to get out to somebody directly with that device, to be able to look something up and just to be able to interact, swipe a card right there for an item they're looking to purchase, and that could go a long way in increasing sales. And again, because you're not having your IT department focus on silly IT things like somebody accidentally put the device in airplane mode or whatever, they can just go back, drop it off, swipe out a new one, and you're good to go. So a really awesome solution, great solve for anyone, like I said, that has limited IT resources and that has a shared pool of devices, which is like every company out there. So I sincerely appreciate you making time and sharing this with us. Any last comments before we get out of here?
No, I mean, if you're interested in these products and solutions, you think they'll be a good fit in your mobile environment, just reach out to us. We're more than happy and helpful to show a demonstration, maybe set up a POC or a pilot and really demonstrate to the end users how this solution really solves a lot of big problems today.
All right, there you have it. Victor Pizzolato hanging out with us today, talking about check-in, check-out of devices from the wonderful Ground Control, formerly Ground Control, now Imprivata. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If you guys have any questions or comments about this solution and many others, you can reach out to us at sales@3itech.com. That's sales, the number 3, EYETECH.com. Be sure to check us out for the next episode of Beyond the Device. Click like and subscribe. We'll see you on the internet. Thanks, guys. Cheers.